Welcome to Trading Lounge and the US Indices report, and we'll just be looking at the S&P 500 today, but we'll be looking at it from a monthly point of view all the way down to an intraday point of view on a 5-minute chart to nail down where we are. And I think being the end of the week, it's also nice to have a look at the bigger picture and sort of remind ourselves of what we've got to come in terms of Elliott wave. And starting from back in 2000 here, the dot-com days, we've had wave 3, an A wave and a B wave and a C wave for wave 4. And then we've been counting 5 waves up here of intermediate degree for primary wave 5. Now, once this is completed, of course, then we'll be looking for a move back down towards 10,000 as the first swing down. So it will be in the process of a major correction at this point here. So I think that's sort of interesting and well, more than interesting and something that, requires a little bit of thought, really, how one's going to navigate one's assets through that situation. Okay, so from wave 4 here, we're looking for 5 waves up. It's possible, the wave 5s are quite clear. It's also possible to have wave 1 sitting here as a bit of a flat correction across here, which is kind of important, really, because when we looking at this particular structure here, there's normally a relationship, well, there's normally many relationships between wave structures, and one of them is that if the extension's in wave 3 here, then wave 1 here and wave 5 will be roughly the same length here. So if we take the length of wave 1 from this particular point here, which we'll probably do on the daily chart or weekly chart as well, it sort of brings us a little bit short of our target up here. So we need to be mindful of that as well, okay? Now, of course, we will just simply track the 5-wave sequence up here, and we're always attracted to the closest, largest number. So up in this area here, that would be, in terms of the trading levels, that would be 2,500. So drilling in here and going into the weekly chart here, we're looking at the intermediate wave 3 and 4 here in blue, and we're looking for 5 waves up of minor degree. So wave 1 we have in place, wave 2 we have in place. So we're traveling into wave 3 here. So we know that we may not come all the way back up here, and what we're doing at the moment is we're tracking in wave 3 here. We're looking for 5 waves. We also understand too that we don't want to see wave 1 as the small, we don't want to see wave 3 smaller than wave 1 here that I've got here. So we want to see wave 3 at least that length to the 2,300 here. That's what we're sort of looking at here. If wave 1 is smaller than wave 1 here, then wave 5 is going to be even smaller still. If wave 1 and wave 3 are the same length, then we could get an extension in wave 5. So there are a variety of things that can occur, and if we just stay with the evidence that would be the actual wave structure, then we'll be pretty safe at that point. But currently, we are looking at 5 waves within wave 3 here. That's where we're at the moment. So drilling into the daily chart here, and this is what we're looking at here. So in wave 1 and wave 2 here, we're looking for 5 waves. We know we've got wave 1 in here and wave 2 here. We're looking for wave 3 now, which could come to 2,200 or maybe just fall short of that as well. I sort of would expect it to move to that level at least, but our wave structure is sort of suggesting that it might struggle within subgroup 2 area here, the 65, 72 and the 80, but we'll look at that in a bit of detail shortly. But yeah, as you can see, we're looking for, this is wave 1 here, so if I put wave 3 to this point here, we're looking for a move to that area there within that 5-wave structure. Then on the 4-hour chart, just drilling into that a little bit further then. I know we've been over this before, but I think it being the end of the week and so on, it's always nice to look at the bigger picture and, really think about when these 5 waves end here, what are you going to do? Because, things like the property market would follow the stock market as well, in due course, that, maybe not tit for tat, but certainly drag it with it, like a ball and chain sort of thing. So from here we have wave 1 and wave 2, and we're counting our little 5 waves up here for wave 3. So I really hope that we actually be sort of pulled up into the 2,200 area here, because I would like to see a decent nice wave 3 here, because if this wave 3 here falls short as well, of this wave 1 here and wave 3 here as well, so that's where we would expect wave 3 here to at least be the same size as wave 1, and if it's going to fall short, then it's going to make all of the rest of the structure up here short as well, and we'll be getting to the top quicker than we actually think. Yeah, that's what it is. So at the moment, of course, we're looking from wave 2 here to wave 3, and we're looking for 5 waves. It does appear that we've got wave 1 and 2 and 3 here in place, so we're looking for the top of wave 3 at the moment. So that can actually that can come up a little bit further here, but hopefully it can move all the way up there, but I don't know. Let's have a look anyway. Wave 4, so a 4-hour, so 2-hour chart here, just drilling in here. So hope you're still with me here. So we've got wave 1 and wave 2 here, and then we're looking at wave 3 up here in blue. Now we know there's going to be 5 waves, so we've got 1 and 2 here. We've been long all the way through here, and we're looking at wave 3 and wave 4 being in place now. If I can just, whoopsie-daisy, get the right thing to move. But anyway, wave 4 there. So we're looking into wave 5 here. And within this wave 5 here, we're counting 5 waves as well. So running a little bit short at the moment. We can see that we're sort of, this is group 2 here, 65, 72 and the 80. So these are all sub-levels. So from 100 to 200, we break that down in the Fibonacci price ratio of 1, 2 and 3 here. And then 5, then 8. They're the Fibon numbers, but with 8 here, we divide it up into group 1. We need to put that in here. So 1, 2, and 3 is group 1. 5 is the midpoint, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 are the Fibonacci numbers, so that will give us our ratio, and that also helps us for the waves to fit in here as well. So it's a very fitting concept that supports Elliott wave a lot. But more than that too, I just find that understanding support and resistance is a very simple, easy way to trade as well, because visually, if you can just market will gravitate to the closest, largest number, because that's where the orders will be, and that will be either support or resistance. And if you can recognize that, then you can trade from that point. It's the question to ask is, what is support? What is tested support? So anyway, getting back to it, we're looking for these 5 waves to the upside here. So between 4 and 5 in here, we need to look for 5 waves. Once this is completed here, this will give us the 3rd wave in blue here. And then we'll see an A wave and a B wave and a C wave. I've drawn them quite big, but technically it can come back to the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree. So where that low is here, the market can come back to this area here. If the market sort of struggles within group 2, then we'll expect it to come back. If the market pushes up into wave 3 at 2 here, then we could probably lift this up here into subgroup 2 area here. Okay, so we'll just see that wave 4 will be at 50, or it will be at the lower end of group 2. That's what we need to sort of sort out as well. So be a little bit flexible on that. On the 15-minute chart, and looking for that green wave 4 that we were looking for yesterday here is in place. So we were looking at, just squash this up a little bit. There's a couple of things here, not that it makes any difference. We can put wave 5 here and wave 3 here as well, which is probably more fitting. But the thing that I didn't like about that is that the move down here is just in 3 waves. So it's There's different ways to count this. It doesn't really matter. I'm sure there's an answer, and I just don't have it because I haven't really paid a lot of attention to it. But it doesn't really matter. We've got our wave 4 low in. That's the reference point that we need. And we were looking for 5 waves up from the midpoint here. Put it on the 50 here. So that's tested support across here. So you can just see that the market sat on here. So really it's just a matter of buying new highs from that point, or different ways to do things, a million ways to do things. So anyway, we've got, we would think that just looking at this here that we could put wave 5 here, and we probably could, but it just sort of counts that we've got wave 1 here and wave 2 here. So I was looking at all of this as wave 3 here and looking at this as wave 4. Now that might be a trap for young players, because this wave 4 is pulled back down past the 38.2% mark, which should be about here. So it's down here. So if that is a wave 4 and it's pulled all the way back down here, we can see that there's a lot of profit taking coming into the market, and these are the sorts of things that tell us that there's a larger top looming here. So I was hoping for this wave 3 to be up here at 2,200, and that's what I would sort of expect as well. I just don't know how it's going to get there in this case, but just be a little bit mindful of that. I would expect it to be pulled up there. I don't know how the wave structure is going to look, because if we've got wave 1 here and wave 2 here and wave 3 here, well then wave 5 really is just going to come into this sort of area through here. So I don't know how it could extend up into this area here based on the ratios that I see of wave 1 and wave 2 here. Coming up to this point here to the 21.8 here for green wave 4 to green wave 5 here, that this because the extension's in this green wave 3, that would leave green wave 1 and green wave 4 roughly the same length, and this is what this little stick here is. So that's where I would assume that the market would come to. Now also, if it just comes to this point here, but be mindful that it could come to this point, our overall target for all of this in terms of our long trades here is we're going to go for this orange wave 3, which is minor wave 3. So minute wave 5 and minor wave 3 is what we're looking for here as our target area. And one of the reasons for that is because we held through this wave 4 low here. So that should be the lowest that the market comes. So we should be able to bring our stops. I won't do it just yet, but I want to be able to hold through this structure, and get up here, up higher into the 2200, maybe even higher up here. So we're going to leave the stop out of the way. We're going to accommodate this move down through here. Of course, you can sell half of it up here and buy back here if you like. That's up to you, but I'm just going to play it quite simple. And yeah, so in this little area here, we should expect to see either from here or from here, we'll see the A wave, the B wave, and the C wave that can come back to the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree here, and also the 38.2 retracement level, which is also a little bit lower here as well for that, and then 5 waves up through this way here. So as expected, yeah, correct. This is the end of the structure here, the ending of the structure. We're 2/3 of the way through this particular structure, so we're going to see, it's not, what you see before is not what you get next. So when you see a nice trend, that's what, most people think that's what you're getting into, but you're actually not. It's just trends and corrections and trends and corrections of different degrees. So if you see a trend, the next thing you're going to get is a correction. So, and the same vice versa. If you see a correction, the next thing you're going to get is a trend. So it makes it quite simple. Let's just sort of drill in here. I want to show you how I've counted this here, because this might be a mistake here because it's pulled back too far here, but I need to show how I've counted it here on the 5-minute chart. And so far, so we're looking at this as wave 1 here and wave 2, 5 waves up here for wave 3, an A wave down to here, and then an A and a B and a C wave for wave B here, and then we're looking down for wave C, which will be down for 1, back for 2, down for 1, back for 2, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the 3rd wave, the 4th wave, and the 5th wave. So I would expect the market to move up from here. Now, I wouldn't personally trade long in this, but if I did, then I would be looking for this number here as the support. Without this number here, I wouldn't go long here because this is all part of group 2, 65, 72, and 80, and I would want to be back inside group 2 here. Then I know that the market will be going to be lifted up. If this market was going to fail, then it's going to fail from 65 here. This is where it would fail and move down, and this is where I would be wrong. So if I was doing it, then I would be using the levels to trade from, and I would want that 65 as support. Yes, 60 is important, but for me, 65 is more important in regards to the levels. So the market's tried to get in there. This is a 72. If you were intraday trading up here, the 72 is where you would take your money off the table, and then you would wait for the 72 to become support again, and then you would move back in there. Of course, you can move part orders back in here. So if I was trading, I would normally be looking up at 2200 here. So if this occurred, I would be taking profit here. I'd build back on 65. If 72 became the support, I'd put a larger order on here. I'd put a smaller order on the 80 here, and then I would be looking to exit coming into the 2-2. I wouldn't trade right to the 2-2, but I'll be very close to it. To 98 would be where the orders would start coming in at that point. All right, well, I just wanted to go for the bigger picture, right down into the detail here, and just have a bit of a chin wag about the situation, and that's where we're at. So cheers and enjoy the weekend. Cheers.